It started with a job listing. Simple night work, decent pay, cash only, no experience required. I was low on money and had nothing to lose. The ad said, overnight caretaker needed for remote property. And even though that sounded like the start of every horror movie ever made, desperation made me ignore my instincts. I called the number and was immediately given directions and a time to show up. No interview, no details, just a time and place. That should have been my first clue. I borrowed my friend's old Jeep and made the drive upstate, deep into the forested hills near Black Hollow. The place wasn't even on Google Maps, but I followed the dirt road like the voice on the phone had told me. 5 miles past the old gas station, then turned left at the rusted mailbox with no numbers. The road narrowed and twisted until the trees nearly touched overhead. I drove slow, tires crunching gravel until I finally saw it. A stone house, old and overgrown, like something that had been forgotten. The windows were shuttered, and a crooked weather vane spun in the wind. No other houses, no signs of people, just me and the forest. I knocked on the door. No answer. I tried calling the number, but there was no signal. When I turned to leave, the door creaked open behind me. No one was there. The inside was dark, dusty, and cold, like it hadn't been lived in for years. On a table just inside the doorway was a folder with my name written on the front in red ink. Inside was a single page. Stay inside. Lock the doors before dark. Do not go near the basement. Do not open the door for anyone after midnight, no matter what you hear. I laughed nervously, figuring it was some elaborate prank or initiation. Still, I locked the door and checked the place out. There was no Wi-Fi, no TV, and barely any cell reception, but the fridge was stocked, and there was a small wood stove for heat. The basement door was padlocked. The night came fast, and with it, silence. No crickets, no owls, just heavy, unnatural stillness. I tried to sleep on the couch, but around midnight, I heard the first knock. Slow, measured. 3 knocks coming from the front door. I froze. I wasn't expecting anyone. I remembered the paper. Do not open the door for anyone after midnight. I waited. The knocking came again, louder. Then a voice, calm, almost friendly. Hey man, I need some help. My car broke down. Please, just a phone call. I stayed silent. Something felt wrong. The voice was too calm, too rehearsed. I checked the peephole. No one was there. I backed away, heart pounding. Then came a second voice, softer, more desperate. I know you're in there. Please, please open the door. Still, no one visible. The doorknob rattled. Then silence. I sat in the dark, holding a fireplace poker until the sun finally came up. The next morning, I searched the yard. No tracks, no signs anyone had been there. I told myself I imagined it, that maybe the stress was messing with my head. But the second night, it got worse. I locked everything again before dark and stayed upstairs. Around 11:50 p.m., I started hearing whispers through the vents. I couldn't make out the words, but it sounded like several people were murmuring just below the floor. I crept to the basement door, still locked, but I could feel cold air seeping through the cracks. Then, at exactly midnight, the knocking started again, this time from the back door, followed by footsteps on the porch. Then the front door. Then upstairs. I was surrounded. But there was no one visible through the windows. I stayed quiet, hiding under the bed like a terrified child. I must have blacked out, because the next thing I remember, it was morning, birds chirping like nothing had happened. I called the number from the ad again, but it just rang endlessly. I should have left. I know that now. But curiosity and stubbornness kept me there. I needed to know what was going on. The third night, I set up my phone to record video facing the front door. I placed another phone in the basement vent to record sound. Then I waited. Midnight came. The knocking began. I didn't move, just listened. The whispers returned, louder now, clearer. He's listening. He can hear us. Come down. And then a third voice, deeper and raspier than the others. He'll open the door this time. I didn't, but something new happened. The padlock on the basement door began to turn. Click, 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 like something was unlocking it from the inside. I rushed forward and jammed a chair under the handle. Whatever it was stopped. The air in the room grew thick, like pressure was building. Then, at exactly 3:03 a.m., it all stopped. The pressure, the whispers, the knocking. Gone. I checked the front door camera in the morning. It showed nothing. No knocking, no voices. Just me, standing in the hallway, staring at a door no one else could see. But the basement vent recording, that captured everything. Whispers, scratching, a voice calling my name. My full name. I packed my things. I was done. Before I left, I wrote a note and slid it under the basement door. Who are you? Just that. Then I drove off, heart pounding. I didn't tell anyone. Not until a week later when a man showed up at my apartment. Dressed in a suit, clean-cut, polite. He asked if I'd worked at the Black Hollow caretaker job. I lied and said no. He handed me a card with no name, just a symbol. A closed eye. If you remember anything else, he said, burn this card and we'll find you. Then he walked away. That night I checked the old recording again, slowed it down, isolated the whispers. And there, layered beneath the voices, was something else. A low humming, almost mechanical, like a machine trying to mimic human speech. But what chilled me the most was the last line on the recording just before it cut off. He sees us now. I deleted everything, burned the card, moved to another city, changed my number. But I still hear it sometimes. The knocking. Always 3 times. Always around midnight. And last week, I got a new phone. Different number. No one has it. But I got a text at 12:03 a.m. It just said, "It's your turn to listen."